Hello everyone, welcome, this is Dragon001 and I keep changing my intro, why not? Today we're going to be doing STRAT chat with Diva. I am also live streaming this on Twitch, so if you ever see me go live, this is what's going on here, and this ends up on YouTube. So if you're watching this on Twitch, hi! I said hi through the chat, and if you're watching this through YouTube, you can comment down below and say hi or whatever, I don't care. Today we're going to be going through Diva and talking about all the ins and outs of Diva. I'm not going to be joined by anyone, as I am currently aware. So it's just going to be me. I'm sorry, guys. Don't know if we have any viewers. I just have the chat window pulled out. So if you have any questions, I can answer them. I'll periodically check, and then at the end, I'll go through a big Q&A and answer questions that I got off of Discord, and I'll ask any questions, even if it's off topic in accordance with Diva, but on topic with Overwatch. I can answer them through Twitch at the end, and I can answer any questions down below in the comment section for YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. So first thing is we're gonna cover why I'm doing Diva. So I did say at the beginning of the week that I was going to do Doomfist, and I ended up getting a VOD review for Doomfist, and I was looking through all the different things you can do with Doomfist and realized that there's a lot of cool things you can do that are map specific, and I need to figure out all the ones I can figure out, and I didn't have time this week. Luckily, though, I play a lot of Diva, so I know how to play Diva, and I asked a group of people, and they were like, yeah, figure out Diva or Zarya, and I was like, I'll do Diva, and so that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna have 2 VOD reviews coming up. I'm not sure, I think I'm gonna do them both on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. I'll give you guys more information in the future. The first one's gonna be a Reinhardt one, and then we have offensive Doomfist. So I'm gonna go through that, and I like the map that they chose because there's some cool things you can do with Doomfist that I can all teach you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. So getting into Overwatch, let's go turn off that. Let's go into a custom game real quick. Let's go to King's Row, like we do. There we go, King's Row. And we're going to be covering Diva. Diva, boom. Yeah, I know I don't have a good skin for her, and I don't know why. Because I save all the currency up for the special events, and so I just save all my currency up so I can do whatever I want, and Diva doesn't get a lot of skins. I was just able to buy the Winston skin, but yeah. Okay. So let's start off on talking about her gun. So an interesting thing is that her gun is a spread gun, and it does 2 things. So a while ago they changed it so that it shoots a lot more pellets, but it doesn't do as much damage. But she has a massive fall off range, and if let's add an AI. Let's add Lucio. Nope. Revolt bots. No. 1. There we go. 2. No, I don't want a Zen. Move. Add AI. Lucio. 2. 1. There we go. Okay, so we're going to have Lucio walking out. So I'm going to cover, you see I'm doing literally no damage, but if you notice that occasionally a damage will peak out, and so this is something we're going to cover pretty soon, but if I get close to him, I start doing a lot more damage and I can kill him. Yep, Diva. I don't think he is. That's what happens with an AI. So range really kills Diva, and that's one of my pet peeves. Is a Diva like standing up here like trying to snipe, and it's doing literally nothing. And the problem is it comes down to that's another thing to show you is so since the update where Diva's defense matrix was dropped, but she was given missiles, like so, you can shoot while flying. And a lot of people used left click shooting to get out of flying. Now, there is a setting where you fly a different way, and we'll cover that later. But a lot of people have that problem where they go, oh, I'm shooting. Oh, how do I stop? And so a lot of the times I like to stop with melee just because you get that burst damage. And it's just a little bit more than your regular shot. And I usually use it to finish off somebody. Becomes very beneficial that way. Well, he just came around the entire area. But yeah, that's with the gun. You can see. So now he has low health. Now if I go very far back, I can kill him from this range, I believe, if he's not healing. If he's not healing. Yeah. So at long ranges, you can still kill people. And so if someone's really on low health, you can still do it. It's not like the damage just completely goes away. But overall, if you want damage to come out, you don't do that. So that's a big part of her gun system. You can see I'm having bad aim. I've been working on a custom game mode recently, and we'll talk about that after the live stream. Maybe doing a other live stream attached onto this that is the game mode that I just created. So yeah, that's with her guns, and of course you can shoot while you're flying. And as you're walking, you slow down while shooting. So if you want to actually catch up to people, don't hold down left trigger that much. It's not like Moira and how she can just walk with the right click and it doesn't do anything. So that's a big part about that. Let's go cover the next ability on the slot. Shift. So shift is a rocket flyer. Lasts for a few seconds and you drop out of the sky. Hitting people does about 25 damage, I believe. Or yeah, and then you combo it with your melee and you do more damage. Guns, by the way, are unlimited ammo. I just feel like I had to say that. So yeah, so shifting, you fly around. If you hit someone, you boop them back. It's kind of a low knockback ability. Not too big of a deal, but yeah, it works sometimes. There's a cool thing I like to do with the shift, where it's a sweep, where you go at them and you curve at the last second and you hit them, like this. Also, a thing as well is when using shift, you don't want to fly straight into people, unless you're using defense matrix, just because as you're doing it, they can hit your crit box, your head box, because Diva's headshot box is pretty big. Head hit box, yeah, is pretty big and pretty easy to hit. And so a lot of the times you're going to want to turn. So like turn like this. Yeah. And so like I said, you shift, boom, melee, and you have this momentum carried into you. And you can hit them like that. So yeah, that's that with shift. It is it's very similar to Winston's Leap, that it's 6-second cooldown. I like this a little bit more, just a tiny bit more, and that's just because it's linear, and you don't have problems getting indoors. And that's a big problem that I have with Winston, is if you want to jump into... so, like, if someone starts going down that hallway and you have to chase them, you actually have to just follow them. Whereas the Diva can just do this and just sweep through. So, I like Diva for that aspect of her like, movement ability is a lot better than Winston's. Well, not a lot better. It's a tiny bit better. and it sometimes gets a little more useful than Winston's jump. That's pretty much it with that. We'll cover E, the E ability. So it does about, I think it's 250 damage, around there. I think it's 256 total if it hits all of them, which is never going to happen with a splash damage. So one thing that's a big changer is E does have a fall off damage, but it's not as bad as the left trigger, and it's just a salvo. So once you press it, there's a delay time. You can see the animation starts, and it starts going, and it stops when it's finished all. It's on an 8-second cooldown, so relatively small. You'll be able to use this the same amount of times Roadhog can hook. Yeah, that's the thing. Some combos with it is you can defense matrix and shoot that. Of course, you can't shoot and defense matrix as well. Don't shoot it at a wall, or else you'll damage yourself. And remember, if you're close to someone you're doing it, make sure you have armor, because it's affected by armor, and you'll like that you're not dying that much. So it's actually pretty beneficial. I like it. Make sure to lead your target, because of course left trigger, left mouse button is hit scan, and of course this is not, so lead your shots with that. Let me see if I can set up a close quarters shot on him so I can show you. So yeah, we don't do too much damage to ourselves when we have armor. Let me see if I can get myself with lesser armor. I'll work on that. While I work on that, I'm going to talk about right click. So defense matrix lasts for 2 seconds and recharges after, I believe, 2 seconds after not using it. And of course, you can block all projectiles except Orissa's barrier. And then energy-based, well, not energy-based, but laser-based. So like Moira's right-click. Moira's orbs get eaten up by this, but Moira's right-click doesn't. Her ultimate doesn't. We have Zarya's primary fire. Symmetra's primary fire don't get eaten, but their right-clicks respectively do get eaten. She can also eat ultimates. Hanzo, Mei, Zarya. I can't remember if Ana's does. It might. All of Ana's abilities get blocked. I can't remember if Ana's ultimate has that. I'll have to test that. I think it might. I think it does get eaten. Just because it's a shot that gets taken. I just can't remember because it doesn't happen that often. So really don't worry about trying to stop that, because it usually goes fast enough that you can't really react. That's a big thing. So there's also with the defense matrix a time in which it starts. So it just takes a little bit. So you kind of have to pre-fire the right click to where they're gonna shoot. That's how it works with there. With defense matrix, I like to keep defense matrix on a resource. So if someone runs at you, don't do this, because once you hit there, they'll just toss an ultimate into your face. What you want to do, and I'll let this recharge up. What you're gonna want to do is you're gonna kind of flutter it in and out so that they don't know what's going on exactly, and then you step out. Don't use it completely, because you want just a little bit just in case, just to absorb as much damage as possible. That's a big thing with that, because once you hit down here, they can count. 2 seconds is easy to count, and you can basically go, oh, now we have a free time real quick. So like, let me see, let's completely deplete this. 1, 2. Okay, so you have 2 seconds until they're able to actually use defense matrix again. 1, 2. Okay, so it's technically 3 because it won't let you click it. Needs like a minimum recharge. Yeah. So now that we have this set up, I'm going to fly up here so we don't have to worry about Lucio. So we have the comparison on the armor with the missiles. You can see we take a lot more damage. We take about 60 damage there, I think. I think we took about 50 or 60 damage. Pretty big. Not that cool. It could make a difference, but it's not too bad. The other thing, I believe we've covered right click on the ultimate. The other thing is that it has a distance, so it's a cone that comes out from D.Va. Well, not a cone, it's more of a block. So as you see, you can see when we do this, there's the animation that's a weird trapezoid animation. And when you use it, it has a distance. So if Lucio starts shooting to my side and I do this, I would actually block anything going through that choke. So you don't have to necessarily be facing at something that's shooting. You see, he was shooting. Where was he shooting from? Where'd the Lucio go? Yeah, so he was shooting from behind me, but I was able to block it. And so I was able to block it from behind. So it's kind of like it's a block that, let's see if I can get him to. Come on. Yeah, so I was able to block it sideways. So you don't have to take everything face on. I suggested D.Va not taking things face on, or else you'll just take a lot more damage, because crit box. But if you're doing this stuff, it doesn't matter. So if you're not shooting at someone, don't look at them. That's pretty much the gist. So that's a lot of the stuff with that. Right click, it has a distance and can block things sideways. I believe when hacked, I think, yeah, you can't use it when hacked as well. I believe that's the thing. Because it's the same ruling, I believe, with Reinhardt and his right click. Yeah, that's that like so. Ultimate. So ultimate is a big thing I'm going to cover because a lot of people have problems using it or think they know how to use it and it's just bad. There's a lot of people that just burn D.Va's ultimate because it's actually really good ultimate. So the number one thing that's kind of dumb, and I'm probably going to kill this guy, is throwing the ultimate and then it drops. You see we didn't get any kills. But if we shift and then ult, depending on the time in which we're flying, and we use the ult, depends on the trajectory of the bomb. I suggest practicing that. Go into a custom game, like I am right now, and put it that you always have your ultimate. So that would be a thing. And then once you use your ultimate, you are able to get back into your mech. There's a time in which you can still die, though. So that's the thing as well. And it basically, you have two ultimates. One is, of course, throwing the ultimate, and the other is getting back into the ultimate. So if you die in D.Va, you go into baby D.Va form if you have no idea what D.Va does. And, of course, you have to recharge your ultimate. A lot of the times, people, if they get demeched, the other team, if they're smart, will let that D.Va live because the baby D.Va is easier to kill and probably won't get their ult back to get back into the mech, even though it's at a faster recharge rate. They won't get the ult back as the team's coming in, and they have to either play more aggressive to try to get their mech. Yeah, so a lot of the times, if a D.Va gets out of her mech after a fight, she just jumps off the cliff, resets. Or people even go as far as changing to a different character and changing back to D.Va and spawn. That's a thing that happens as well. That's usually bad because then it resets your ult charge. So that's a thing that happens. So yeah, throwing your ultimate's a little sketchy. I suggest going into maps and practicing different places. One thing that I do want to point out is throwing your ultimate on a corner. So if I threw my ultimate and landed it here, a lot of people, their initial reaction is if it's flying this direction, they go around this side. And if you land it right here on this edge, then you cover a lot of distance. And so this is, well, a lot of area. So it kind of takes that idea that we've covered in the one video about pressure and how pressure is created. D.Va's bomb creates absolute pressure. The problem is it casts shadows, and so people, and it has a time in which it will, because it creates pressure instantly, and so a lot of people are able to dodge that by standing behind stuff, and I believe as well. So if the Diva Bomb was on the other side of this light post, this post will block the bomb, and so a lot of the times your Diva Bomb won't get any value if you're trying to get kills. So if you don't get any value out of a Diva Bomb, what do you get used for it then? Well, the Diva Bomb is kind of like a stopwatch or a pause button. You ult where on the point, and then everyone has to get out of there or stop what they're doing for a moment because the Reinhardt's going to have to pull up a shield or something like that, or they're all going to have to go behind. And so they end up just not moving for a while, and then that's when your team's able to re-evaluate or do damage. So that's a good way to pause. It's a good way to stop aggressive pushes. So if they push in and you just ult, it forces them to back up. Another thing as well is Diva Bomb's really good against dive. And so as a Diva, if you want to use your Diva Bomb effectively, wait for the Winston to use his bubble, and then you just burn it down. There's one play of the game I got where on Anubis, defending on Anubis, Winston jumps in, throws his bubble, and I basically emoted the entire time, waited for the bubble to despawn, ulted, and got a 5-man kill. And that was just because there wasn't really anything they could do. They didn't have anything to block it. So as Diva, you should be figuring out who can block your ultimate and how to counteract them. So that's a big thing with Diva. Another thing as well, and this is with like payloads or stuff like that, it's really good to just clear point to allow you to push. So if you were trying to push the point and you're just barely, or trying to cap the point and you barely just have time, a good thing to do, because progress is if the enemy team's on it, a good thing to do is stand on the point and just ult. Don't throw it in the air. Don't be fancy like that. And they die. Or they have to move back. So it's a good way to do that. And I prefer stationary ults, because when that happens, then your team knows where the team's going to go. Because sometimes having a clear path for the enemy team to go to get away from your bomb gives you the upper advantage. Just because they have to go in a direction. If you can like corral them, then you can do a lot of cool stuff. And so a lot of times you can Diva Bomb and then Genji ults. And so Genji can't really be shot, because if he gets shot, they're peeking the ult or stuff like that. Likewise, Lucio would like to boot people out of cover and into the ultimate as well. Anyone that can do boop stuff. Orisa, countering Orisa is wait for her to use her shield and then place a bomb where you want. Forces them to go to one side of the shield and not just block it straight out. Sometimes you can get away with throwing it straight up into the air, but I suggest dropping the bomb a little bit later. So don't like shift and then go ult immediately. What you want to do is you want to shift, count like 2 seconds and then ult, or 1 second and then ult, depending on how far you want to throw it. Because if you throw it too high, it will just blow up above, like we saw back there. And basically couldn't really see anything. So let me get my ult real quick. Yeah. So there's combos you can do with Diva as well, with the E, shooting, because you can shoot and E at the same time, and also defense matrix, so you can combo the two. I like diving Anas with defense matrix and E, because they literally can't do anything. Everything they do is blocked, and they hate your life. So let's throw this up. See? You don't throw it immediately. You kind of figure out a certain way, and then you can figure out how to arc it so that you can throw it through windows, all that stuff. As Reinhardt, well, technically your mech is still an entity or a character once you've left it. So it can still be, even if you die. So if Roadhog hooks you as you die, he hooks a mech. So if you ult as he hooks you and you're done, well, as he hooks you and you ult, it lands in front of his face, and he usually can't get away from that unless he's standing next to a Reinhardt, because proximity to the bomb, where proximity to shelter. So if everyone's grouped up, you want to drop the bomb on them, especially if you know they don't have barriers to counter, because then they have to get away. Another good thing is if they have a far mercy. This is where throwing it up in the air is pretty good, and it's just because you throw it in their general area, and then you throw it, and then you explode it. And usually you'll get the Pharah, or Mercy, or both, just because of how fast they can move. The Mercy could probably get away if they shift fast enough. I like using it mainly if the Mercy is ulting, because then that actually gets pretty good value, because the ulting Mercy kind of flies around, doesn't really pay attention to what's going on ultimate wise, because they have that regeneration. They don't really pay attention to their health. So if you throw it and the Mercy isn't paying attention, she can't really fly fast enough to get away from that bomb. A thing as well is Winston's will, when they use their ult, they'll try to pick a character, and they'll take them up to a corner and just start bopping them to keep them away. You can do the same thing with shift, and you just keep them pushed back. That's good as well. Little tidbit, thing that you'll find almost nothing useful is if you shift. Let me see. Boom. And I believe, let me see if I can get it right, because you have to get them head on. So you should be able to, if you can get their momentum conserved, so like on low gravity, you can keep them to have all their momentum conserved in air. If you hit someone in air, they'll stay in front of your mech, and so you can shoot them during that, and then you can turn off at the last second and have them drop off a cliff or something like that. So you can it's kind of a weird dribbling of a ball, but it's better if they're air strafing. Which I can't really simulate that. So that's the thing you can do. What else ultimate wise? Let me go back to my office so I don't have to worry about the Lucio being a pain. Let's see if we have any questions in the chat. No, we have no questions in the chat. We are good to continue. So D.Va's really in the meta right now. It's mainly because she does a lot of damage, and she has the dive mentality. And people forget that her right click still does the same exact thing that it used to. It's just not used that often. So you can just stop ultimates left and right. Let me see. Show lobby. Let's remove all bots. Add AI. Let's see if we can add. What do we want to add? So Zenyatta, no. Zarya. Let's do Roadhog. Team 2, 1. So we're going to have the Roadhog hook me, and I'm going to show the hook mechanic. We'll see how it goes. For those of you that don't know as well, is you can't crouch as D.Va. Interesting thing. So you're going to want to do a lot of... Yeah. So that's a good way to get them to back off as well. But like I said as well, is you want them, their proximity to cover to be the least. Now if you don't want to set up killing someone with the D.Va ult, you can use it as a get back into your mech, because of course you get a new mech when you do that, and you get all your health back. So that's a good thing as well. So there's a lot of different things you can do. I suggest that unless that for the most time, if you're ulting with someone else. And so that's my big suggestion, is you don't ult by yourself. mainly because it's easier to set up kills if you have more ultimates going on. Let's see if I can... Yeah. So... Yeah. So that's a good shot if they're coming out, but again, I get nothing because they aren't coming out. So like if Reinhardt Earth Shatters, you can throw the bomb on top, combo with the Reinhardt Earth Shatter. I like that usually a lot. Combo it with Zarya, all that kind of stuff. D.Va's gun does pretty good amount of damage. Let's go like this, blocking all the damage. You can do that. You can block damage with ults. So that's the thing that most people know, is just basic mechanics of D.Va overall. So yeah, again, and it's the thing called naked D.Va ults, where you just throw it randomly, and unless you have a good opening, it's not really worth it. And a lot of the times ultimates create good good moments, as well with countering ults. So if they do a very aggressive ult, like Soldier's ult or Roadhog's ult or stuff like that, and you just throw the bomb in there, it's a good counter. So don't think of it necessarily as it's there to kill people, it's there to create pressure, and that's the difference. So that's a lot of the stuff with D.Va. And let me see, let me remember if there's anything I'm missing. You don't like Reaper as D.Va. You like Hanzos because Hanzos shoot slow and you can eat their ult and everything they do. You like to go up against Ana's because you can eat everything she does. Pretty basic stuff. I'm trying to remember what else. Pharah. A good thing with Pharah is to defense matrix her ult. Last resort, if you position yourself to the side, so she's usually not going to shoot at you. She's usually going to try to shoot at the squishies first. So if you shift in defense matrix and then curl up into her, and so you expose the backside of the mech, not your crit box. I'll show you. Let me see. So if you expose the backside of your mech to the ulting Pharah, then usually the splash damage will kill the Pharah and then demech you. Not always though. There's sometimes you will get away with low health, but as a last resort, it's a good way to just get rid of it. That's decent, I believe. Let me see if I've covered everything. So let me look at the hero gallery of lineups. Bastions, you like going up against Bastions because you defense matrix while the team dives on the Bastion, and you can pretty much kill him pretty fast. Doomfist, yeah, he doesn't really cause that much of a problem because he can't do enough damage to kill you, but you can't really do anything to stop him, except kill him. Genji, yeah, so. He can deflect your shots. It's not too big of a deal. Hanzo again. Junkrat, you can you're gonna want to block some of his damage he's gonna do, and all that kind of stuff. Lucio, kill him. That's pretty much it. McCree is gonna want to use flashbang, so or right click depending on. So they might try to right click you if they're lower level. Higher levels they're gonna use left click a lot more, and so a lot of the times you'll dive in and they might try to flashbang you, and you kind of have to get the feel of it, because as you go in, you need to put a pressure on them and have them panic so that they feel like they have to use the flashbang, and that's when you stop them. Mei, you eat her ultimate, otherwise you stay away from her freezing you. Mercy, you can chase her around in the sky if you're flying, same thing with Pharah, and just kind of put pressure and shooting. Other than that, you dive on her and E with Winston, and you can pretty much kill her if you just E and left click, because I think your max damage you can do is 300 damage overall with the salvo, or a little more than that, at least 300 damage. Moira, always eat her orbs. Um, an interesting thing is you actually counter Moira, semi-counter, but you don't want to stay with her right around when she's hitting you with right click. Likewise, if you have a Moira on your team, she's going to like you because you're a big target to heal. Orisa, right click her halt ability, use E on her ultimate to just do damage. E does a lot of splash damage and it does a lot of damage overall. And so if there's something stationary, you want to hit it. So Orisa's ultimate, Bastion's ultimate, Torbjorn's turrets, all that stuff. Pharah, stop her ultimate. Don't worry too much about knockback unless you know that like Lijiang Gardens, knockback's gonna kill you. Then use right click. Reaper, right click his ultimate. Also shift into him to boop him away from your team. That's a good thing as well. Because if you right click, he spins around in your defense matrix and you eat everything. It's not one direction. Reinhardt, always right click his Earth Shatters. Not Earth Shatters, Fire Strikes. Same with Moira's Orbs. Roadhog, right click his ultimate. Other than that, just pepper and damage. He's a big target. Soldier, right click and stop his ultimate. And what you're going to want to do is if you're in his face, you don't want to face him because he can shoot you in the face. So that's a big thing. Sombra can hack you. Not really too big because she can't kill you that fast. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. In the middle of a fight, it is a problem. So just kind of every so often, if there's a Sombra, you want to shift and fly around in a circle. And there's a good chance that you'll hit her out of stealth. Symmetra, a good thing to do is fly into where you know there's going to be Symmetra turrets. And you just spin around and you can hit them pretty fast. Very similar to Winston. Also, a good use for Diva Bomb is to actually throw it at the shield generator or teleporter. Just use it there. You get great value out of that, and you might get value out of people trying to come through the teleporter. So that's pretty nice. And sometimes the Symmetra tries to camp that. So if you have a problem with that, just throw it in there and you kill it. Torbjorn, E is turrets. Right click his damage up close. A lot of things as well as you want to support your team in killing people. So if you just follow them, absorb damage, and you defense matrix big stuff, it's pretty good. Tracer, interesting thing is it takes her 1 second to shoot. It takes her 1 second to reload. So you can actually time that with the defense matrix. Kill them. Widowmaker, similar with Winston, and you dive Widowmaker. Right click, do all that kind of stuff. She'll hate your life. She has an 8-second cooldown on her grapple, and eventually you will get the better of her. Also, E at people's feet. So if you use your E ability, the missiles, aim at people's feet first. And then kind of lead with that. Because there's a good amount of chance that either the missiles are going to go past some people that have a small hitbox like Tracer or Mini Diva. And so it's just better to hit the ground because you get guaranteed splash damage. Same thing with Soldier. You do the same thing with Soldier's right click as you want consistent damage. So you get that splash damage consistently. Zarya, right click her ultimate. You'll hear her with a voice line. Same with Hanzo. And you can just take right click and just spin around real fast in the direction of where you hear it. There's a good chance you're going to just pick it up because defense matrix is instant. There's not it has to travel so far through the defense matrix. It's a vaporizer of guns and stuff. Zenyatta, right click if he's trying to right click you. Can't do much about trance unless you boop him off a cliff. Diving him's pretty fun. If you E him, he's a pretty big hitbox target to hit. That's pretty good. Same thing with Doomfist is hitbox is a big thing with E. So the bigger the hitbox, the better your E ability micro missiles will work. He also doesn't have a lot to do with getting away from a Diva Bomb. So if you try to Diva Bomb him, there's a good chance that you get out his ultimate. And if you can trade any ultimate for Diva Bomb, it's a win. Straight up. Same thing with Winston's ult. Is if you can trade any ult for it, it's a win. So I believe that's going to be it. I think that was probably the fastest I've ever done one of these strat chats. I think I have people that the people that I usually record with draw it out. So looking at you, Garrett. So yeah, I'm gonna open up for questions. And I'm gonna talk about the game mode I created and scheduling for the future. So go ahead and put questions in the chat, and I'll double check that in a couple of seconds, and we can cover some stuff. So yes, I created Star Wars. So if I set it up like so, let's just add AI. Yeah, on both sides, sure. So if I add AI, let's do this. So, oh, I forgot. Hold on. Remove all bots. Okay. So settings. I have minimum heroes, so that's why I'm doing this. Nope. Add AI. Mess that one up. Okay, so we don't have Anna, we don't have Bastion. We have McCree. Yeah, so I have McCree. Let's add it to all. So, pretty much this is Star Wars. I call this the Star Wars game mode, and it's pretty fun. We have 5 different characters. So you have the Jedi, Genji, who always has Dragon Blade. We have McCree, which is kind of like the Han Solo of the group. Does a lot of damage, has unlimited ammo, but he doesn't have flashbang or Deadeye. Farah takes more of the bomber mentality. She can fly around fairly fast and do good amount of damage and has barrage. Diva is like a support gunship. She can use all of her abilities. She doesn't have her ultimate though, or I think her ultimate's like on a really, really, really slow cooldown. Orisa is kind of like the walkers, so she moves very, very slow. Doesn't have her ultimate or her halt ability, but she has fortify on a lower cooldown, all that stuff. So as you see, Genji, we have the unlimited cooldown on the blade. He has 100 health to kind of counteract that. I'm still working on balancing because I haven't had a legitimate playtest. He jumps higher. He has better. He also has deflect, which is on a very minor cooldown. It's not instant, but yeah, you can see there's kind of a little flicker there. So the McCrees do hit better with damage. So of course so I believe the McCrees are actually supposed to one-shot me. So yeah, the Genji is supposed to be overpowered because he's supposed to be like the Jedi. But he has problems against like the ships, so Farah. So the Genji is pretty much made for this kind of stuff, and I'll show you how easy he does. So let me not deflect. Come on, shoot me. Shoot me. Yeah. So it actually should do technically more damage. Let me cover Farah. Actually, let me just cover McCree so I can show you. So we have roll on 2 seconds. It's just because I didn't really want people to like shift all the time. I think I might increase his base speed just because I'm still trying to figure that out, because he does have a faster walking speed. But yeah, unlimited ammo, so that's pretty good. So there's that. I believe he takes a little bit less damage. No, it's the same. So there's no damage change. He's a little faster. And he does a little more damage as well. Yeah. So that's with that. Let me go ahead and die. So I believe a headshot instant kills. There goes my hero. D.Va is kind of hard to fix. She's faster, of course, and gravity is just a little bit lower for her, but not too much. It's just barely noticeable. Unlimited cooldowns on pretty much everything. She does more damage. I believe her defense matrix is more as well. I might actually remove defense matrix now that I see it, because she's a monster. Did I have... Okay, I should probably put more of a cooldown on E so that it's not all the time. Yeah. She does, I think, twice the damage, so it is a little more of a burst. I'll change that in the future. Orisa moves very, very slow. As you see, she's kind of like the walkers. Projectile speed's faster, including shield. Shield has a 2-second cooldown, so all the better. Let me get an arc on that. So it's not really meant for you to throw very far. I kind of wish that they had separate projectile speeds. Oh, hey, that's where the barriers went. So yeah, we don't have halt. We do have fortify. We have 800 health. So that's twice the health of regular. Pretty good. So we are a tank. So usually we'll have to have like bombers or stuff like that. You can see we have unlimited ammo, so very similar to how Star Wars works. And there's not really much ammo-wise. That McCree looks like he's having problems. Yeah, so there's... So I'll show you. So let's see if they can shoot me. Let's see. Just stop it. Don't punch me, shoot me, you idiots. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, and she can't really jump that much. Just shoot me. Shoot me. Shoot me. Shoot me. Don't punch me. They have a lot of damage, and so punching just kind of feels stupid. But yeah, that's the different characters. I'm thinking of adding Torbjorn, where all he does is put down a turret and heals the turret, and his armor packs are a little higher so that he can support the team. So be like the team support, where he's building the turrets, which aren't going to do a lot of damage, but are going to be a thing. Yeah, so that's the thing. Let me leave the game so that I can look and see if we have any questions in chat. We do not have any questions in chat. Okay. I'll cover a couple questions I got on Discord. Actually, one question on Discord, and it was, if you're learning a new character, what do you suggest? Let me see exactly what it is. So let me look, because I did post a thing, and I got a response. Let me see. Ah, here it is. So it's from Jake, saying, when learning a new role like tank, is it better to stick with a few at a time or try and practice all of them? And pretty much with playing characters, a lot of it is if you learn how to play another character. Oh, I have desktop audio off. Oops. So if you're wanting to learn how to play a character, then learning other characters as well is kind of good to figure out stuff. Like I said a while ago, is I would love to see a Zenyatta player play Hanzo, because they would play it in a different style than people that only play Hanzo, because they would do a lot more peek shots and stuff like that. So a lot of times there's that thing with tanks as well. I suggest playing Winston first, so that you know aggressiveness. Play Reinhardt, and obviously you're going to end up charging too much, and that's when you start playing Orisa, because Orisa can't be aggressive. You can't just run into the enemy team. So that's my suggestion, is play Orisa first, just so that you can get that consistency of where the barrier is, and then once you play Reinhardt, you'll go, oh, okay, well, I can move this shield around a lot more and it has more health, and so you'll understand that a lot more. Overall, if you're playing a main tank, like Reinhardt or Orisa, protect the team first, attack second, and then start learning how you can protect the team and attack. Stay with your team. It's kind of like the animation where it's the whole thing of stay with your team, Reinhardt. It's kind of what goes on with this. Winston can get away more with diving in, just because they're a dive. D.Va can do a lot more harassing. Roadhog, Zarya they're more of a tech kind of pick as well. Is they're there for a reason. Zarya's there because she can shield people, and her ultimate's really good. Roadhog's there because he has a lot more health sustain. So Roadhog's pretty good if you have been playing DPS for a while. He's a good one to pick up, because he does a lot of damage. Zarya is a good one to pick up. I suggest really playing all of them, just so that you know how to deal with certain things. Figure out what your play style is. So if you're gonna do a lot of, if you know that you're super aggressive, play more Winston. If you aren't as aggressive, play Reinhardt and learn that aggression, because you're going to be there with a shield and go like, I gotta hit this guy, and you just do. So that's a big thing with learning new stuff, is figure out different things. Well, the good process in learning new stuff as well is understand what's going on and what you're having problems with, and then what can help you with that. And so usually it's just playing a lot more, understanding what you're doing wrong. Look up guides for characters, send in VOD reviews, learn about the character and how to best play them, and then you then get to learn. So a lot of stuff with tanks is more theory, by the way. So not as much skill, but more theory. Okay. Do we have any questions in chat? Hey, Trevor, yeah. Working on the game mode. Yeah, I kind of started out with the whole Jedi thing, having a Jedi fight with Genji, and having the blocking. He has lower health. I have the health packs also recharge faster. That's another thing as well, just so that you don't have that thing of not having enough supports. I'm trying to figure out other characters in the game that would be good in a Star Wars like environment, and that's why I was thinking of Torbjorn. So cool. Okay, let me check and make sure everything. Okay, so I believe I'm going to wrap it up here. So if you guys have any suggestions or topics you want me to cover, any topics I can cover. There's not really, it kind of is endless, so just keep it Overwatch themed, because that's kind of what this is supposed to be. So if you have any questions on how things work or stuff like that, if you want me to cover a certain topic, I can cover it. Pretty much anything. So yeah, Okay, everyone, I'm gonna sign off. I might be on a little later tonight if I can get a group together to try out this game mode. I'm not sure what I'm doing tonight though, so I'll figure that out. So yeah, everyone, please like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, put them below in the comments section. I'll answer them on YouTube. I'm looking at doing a VOD review on Tuesday, covering a Reinhardt gameplay and covering a Doomfist gameplay, doing a double, and then going from there. So everyone, see ya. Bye.